Hello, good morning. We will start with some housekeeping. And just to remind you, please bear in mind that forums, I have a slide with a summary. The forums need to be completed. Forum 1, the project abstract. This is a new forum. I created it again so that you could upload your revised abstracts. And then this one was for quantitative research. And I saw that some people uploaded some presentations here. That is all right. So this was a forum created for quantitative at that time. But the full presentations from last week will be uploaded to forum 3. So we have 3 forums. And remember, it's a 20% of the final grade with this participation. So I really need you today finishing your participation, because you have the materials. You only have to upload your presentations here to forum 3, and the evaluation, the formative evaluation to peers, to their so each group uploads the presentations, and then each other group uploads the peer observation and formative document. So that's easy. You have these materials. You filled in the observation, formative evaluation last Wednesday. So everything is done. Yes, Liselda?
I did it. I uploaded.
Yes. I saw your presentation. So we all need to see all of the presentations and then the feedback to each group. And that is something that is not new. I mean, you finished that last Wednesday. So today we need this participation, okay? And today we have this. This is incomplete. I was uploading some materials here. So that's what you're going to see on Educandos. Okay, so I need the participation. Yes, it's 20%. Don't wait till December 20th, just because it's already the end of the semester. Please, let us keep participating. It's not every week either. It's every other week or every 2 weeks that we have an event of participation, yes? But moreover, we don't have tasks. Today, you will see we have a task just for organization issues. It's not because it is one other activity. You will because of organization, or for you to have resources, I created a task. But it's not that I'm only evaluating the task. The task is one more event of online participation. So please bear that in mind. Okay, so we are in week 7. That's incredible, week 7. Remember, the time is flying and it's October already. So we need to start focusing on our projects. Today we will finish with the last topic that was left from research design. So we saw qualitative, quantitative, and now it's action research design. And with that, we will have completed everything in relation to research design. So time really flies, and we need to take advantage of this month to progress in our projects. So evaluation. So oral evaluations have been done. You have your feedback on Educandos. I only have to upload to the SGC, to that system. Participation, I keep on telling you every week, participation is important. We need everyone. Girls are coming, yes. You need to work in your groups today too, so please contact your group members. And we will continue working in groups. And as I said, the research project will continue being worked little by little in process to complete other sections. we are in the methodology section now that we are reading more on methodology. It will be presented on December the 1st. So, and then the final written version will be, I will receive it on the 15th. So December, as you see, in December, we don't have any more classes. It will be only presentations, working on your final versions. And I think that we will be okay. So we have to take advantage of all the classes before. In November, we will keep on working on your pedagogical challenge, the integrated evaluation that you were presenting, the topics of which you were presenting last week. So therefore, we have the time to work with each project separately. Okay, you know there are some sections in projects that take some time. Writing takes time. Writing is in process. Finding literature review, materials for a literature review is also time consuming. So we need to be purposeful, come to class early and work here, take advantage of the time and work in class. The organization for October is like this. So we will have today action research. We will see if we have time to work with the projects. In any case, action research is another design that is worthwhile knowing about. You will read and prepare something on action research because it can be another possible design. Then we will dedicate to procedures in instruments for data collection. We will see if we do a little bit of more literature review. Remember, you will have to decide on your methodology and objectivity and ethical issues. And with that, we will accomplish everything or certain sections in the methodological framework. So here we have review of literature. Again, review of literature in regards the the methodology you are going to choose for your project. So as you see, October will be hard work, implies hard work, coming to class, participating and working here. The more we work in class, the less work you have during the week. Since you have a lot of lots of other activities and your timetable is full. So let us be proactive, purposeful, and work during classes. Okay, so that's what October looks like. And here is again the reminders for you that we need the forum participation. Let us take time. You will have time to work with your groups, access educandos. Anyway, you need to access because you need to download some materials, but to upload presentations from last Wednesday need to be finished. And the abstracts, you might have them since we worked with them the second week, remember? So it's just uploading what you worked after that second class in which we explain the procedures with the abstract. Well, okay, do we have any questions in regards this week's work? So we don't have any midterm. The first grade you will have in SGC will be the oral exposition. And the rest of your grades will be uploaded by December just because they take longer to, so the items, the evaluation items take longer. But that does not mean we are not doing anything. Remember, the same in the same logics that the integrated evaluation was created is to be doing a little bit every week. We cannot get to December the 1st without the research project worked on, developed, yes? So we need to do a little bit every week. And you will receive feedback and feed forward, yes? So what can we improve to continue? Always remember, feed forward. That's a new word we learned on evaluation. Okay, so keep in mind, today you will have time to work with your group, so please, foreign participation is required. Okay, so revision from last week. We had some presentations on qualitative research design, and we were discussing if we had decided to conduct either or research study, and that you needed to always be thinking why. Why did you decide on this qualitative research study or qualitative or quantitative? The point is that you need to know why, yes, and explain your decisions. Moreover, we expressed very briefly, very briefly, a purpose statement. Of course, at the very, as with the very initial stage. Okay, does anyone have this? Does anyone have this research purpose statement for your studies at hand? So we hear you. So that you share. Does any one of you have this? The purpose of this? Do you have, does anyone, you already had it last week? We will keep on working on it. Remember that we need to add it to your projects. So I will share it in the chat. Does anyone, that's the frame sentences. That's a frame sentences in which you just complete the blanks.
Yeah, I remember this work, and I remember that we should add our
Date,
the
yes,
information of our presentation, but I'm not sure if I make this part.
this writing. Yes, you might. You received it. We were only just discussing by the end of the class. So I will copy this also in the task today, so you have it in a Word document. Work on it, and don't forget it to add it to your projects. So, Araceli, do you have yours? Were they
Yes,
all
miss.
qualitative by any chance? I
Yes.
think they were all qualitative.
Qualitative. Mhm.
Qualitative, yes.
And the purpose of this hermeneutical phenomenology
Study
study. Yes.
is to, will be to, which verb?
Will be to interpret experience using concrete material for teachers and students in a rural area school.
In a rural area school.
In subject mathematics.
So using, here the central phenomenon, using concrete materials to teach mathematics.
Yes.
According to, well, we will have to translate it and also adjust to Spanish. Yes, according to teachers and students at a rural school in the Maule region. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So this sentence frames, and this is a resource teachers of English use a lot, but I found it also in a book by a renowned researcher and professor. This is adapted from Creswell. I have to acknowledge his authorship. And And Creswell is really very purposeful in choosing this and so his pedagogical resource has been very useful for students in different levels to be able to articulate the introduction to their studies. Okay, so that's very useful. I will acknowledge the authorship. This is by Creswell, the book you were reading by him on qualitative research approaches. Okay. So I think for the time being, we all agreed you will keep on thinking. Remember, you need to be able to think and progress with this research design. The research design section. Here it is. The research design sections of your projects. So we will have time to dedicate to that as well. Let me check. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. I will add this to the document I'm going to share with you, so you also have these words that you remember. So adaptive. This is a good beginning, and from there, Creswell also develops some more explanations on this phenomenon, or what do you mean by this phenomenon, and also because those are the concepts, you need to continue researching the literature. And therefore, from here on, from this short sentence, you can continue developing and focusing your research study. All right. Okay. All right, so we keep on in our unit 1, characteristics and components of the scientific method, and we will recognize characteristics of action research and their use in educational research. So this is a new design of which you're going to about which you're going to research yourself. So I have like a short web quest or a scavenger hunt and a task with the resources for you to look for information about action research. All right. But the basis for action research are on educational research. And the last semester, we discussed briefly about educational research and some characteristics and purposes, and in general, everything we do because of our profession will be related to education. But we read some things, and even in the final test, you had some questions regarding educational research. Is there anything you remember especially? What's the purpose, for example? Why is it conducted?
You can use quantitative or qualitative.
Yes. You can, researchers, subjects, researchers can design, yes, researchers can design qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative and quantitative studies, yes, in education, yes, perfect. We have all of them. For which purpose? To serve which purpose?
To know the people's experiences.
Yes, to find out with the purposes. We have different purposes. Yes, on the one hand, one of those purposes can be to find out experiences, perceptions, understand, remember, explore, understand, interpret. Those verbs are fundamental. Perceptions, beliefs, that's on the one hand, okay? Beliefs of teachers and students in the educational system, yes, or also authorities. So there's a research conducted with school principals in our school authorities in general, and with teachers, of course, and with students. So you have one purpose, but purpose two, that's qualitative, and that's when we conduct qualitative research studies, yes. But there's not the only research design that we can find. Purposes two. Remember the examples we gave when we were trying to measure the impact of interventions. Yes.
Find explanation of thought that happen in education.
Yes.
Like for I don't know, understand to the better way to the situations or specific no, I don't know,
Phenomena.
Yeah, for that give is explanation about something that happened inside of the education.
Exactly, to understand specific phenomena and interpret educational phenomena. Excellent. Yes. We are still within educational phenomena. We are still within okay, I can change. So we are still within the realm of a qualitative approach. But if we think of the other side of the coin, if we are not doing qualitative, but we need to research on cause and effect, the impact of an intervention, the results of tests. Do you remember the experimental designs we also presented about? To find out. Do you remember what the experimental designs? The before and after, the control group, the experimental group. Quantitative research looks for a specific kind of relationship. It's not, as we were explaining, Liselda and Barbara were explaining, it's not exploratory, interpretive, whereas it searches for a specific kind of relationship. That is, if I do this intervention, I have this result. What is that, the name of that relationship?
Maybe difference, I don't know.
There is a difference. Yes, there is a difference. Yes, Javiera was explaining about that difference. Do you remember? There was an equation, yes? And you take the pre-test and then the post-test or the before and after, and you have there a difference, exactly. And that's the impact of the intervention. But what is that relationship called? If I teach the students, if I teach the experimental group with the method A and the control group, I don't, with the control group, I don't use that method. What is this? What is the relationship? If I teach group, it's the experimental group with the problem-based methodology, I will have certain results. Yes. So that is cause, relation, cause effect Hay una causa y un efecto.
Oh,
Yes, do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, to find out cause and effect relationships. Cause and effect relationships. And you read about different kinds of experimental designs. For example, Araceli and Javiera were talking about the after only, yes. So those research designs in which we do not have a cause, or well, yes, we have a cause, but we can only see the effects. And the effects of policies, for example, the effects of the impact of different examinations, but we do not know the basal situation, yes? We do not understand the previous stage. Whereas in other cases, and we have control groups and double control groups, yes? We have control over variables that can alter those effects, those results. Okay, so researchers can organize, design qualitative, quantitative according to different purposes, yes, but which is the utmost objective here, purpose. So Barbara was saying something about, yes, understanding and interpreting, but which can be the final objective. What do we want to do? Why do we conduct research? And this is true for different areas, also in medicine. If we think medical science also needs to continue progressing, attend to new needs. So every year we have new variations of viruses that need to be studied. So the medical science is always moving forward.
Maybe discover new,
In education, yes, discover.
Discover new thing.
Yes, to make new discoveries, but also to keep progressing. Yes, making progress. Yes, exactly, making progress within the educational sciences. To make progress and to make progress, to make discoveries, yes. To make discoveries and support the progress in the educational sciences. Yes, if we, so there is a new trend that everything in scientific, that every scientific progress needs to be made on the basis of evidence, and education is not foreign to that. Education also needs to make progress based on evidence. And that's why research designs in education have become more and more famous and acknowledged around the world, and there is a lot of educational research going on. And there are different ways in which we said, and different participants within educational research, but education above all, also medical sciences, that's what I can think of now, but especially education tries to make progress, to bring improvements to the population. Since we are dealing with people every day of our lives, we try to make the lives of those people better, our practices better, and that is what educators need to be educated upon. So it's your time now to dedicate yourselves to looking for improvements. And for example, the integrated evaluation is an excellent opportunity for that. As future educators, so you begin observing situations that need attention, that need improvement. And educators are always basically and inherently interested in making progress, bringing new ways to teach, improve the teaching, improve the quality of lives of our students, give them better experiences. Therefore, educational research is very much dedicated to making improvement, changing situations that should be detrimental to the actors involved, specifically younger generations. That's why action research is another option to organize, to design research studies. So here we have a video by John Spencer. Dr. John Spencer is very clear in his explanations. He also has other videos about why to be a teacher or thank a teacher. And so he's a professor as well. And he's always dedicated to making these very easy to understand videos to explain different topics. So I will share with you also, I will share the task with you. It's also uploaded to Educandos for you to have these questions in order to prepare for the first listening. What is action research? You will listen to that information. What is the relationship between researcher and participants in action research? What is the organization of action research? How is it organized? What kinds of data can be collected in action research? And what is the action that follows the conclusion stage? So there is an action that is repeated along everything you hear about or you read about action research, and I wanted to be able to find out what is that component that makes this design so pervasive, so how can we say, so applicable to educational settings and experiences, and why is it so pervasive with teachers, especially being taught in several colleges of education, in master programs, working with teachers. That's because of the settings in which it is carried out, because of the purposes, and also because of these elements that are so well known to teachers, or with which teachers work in their everyday lives. So you have already this idea. So we will watch together, then you can watch in your groups as well to take notes and discuss. But we will watch together first before we go to break. But please pay attention to the questions. I will share with you by means of chat. I will share the task with you so that you have a look at, you can have a look at the questions while I look for the video. It's not very long. It's not a very long video. We watch together and then we discuss. So pay attention. What is action research? What's the relationship between researcher and participants? Kinds of data you can collect, the organization, and what is that component that is very important and that shows an ending and a new beginning. So pay attention to that. Hopefully we can hear. Loud and clear.
Teaching is a craft. It's both an art and a science, which is why great teachers always experiment and make tons of mistakes. But how do you know what's actually working? Well, one option is action research. Here you can identify a question, test out a strategy, gather data, and determine if it works. The end result is something dynamic, innovative, and tied directly to your classroom. Action research dissolves the barrier between the participants and the researchers. In other words, the teacher actively participates in the situation while also conducting the research. There are many action research frameworks, but they generally follow a similar process. You start out in phase 1, planning for research. Here you begin with inquiry, where you define a specific research question. It needs to be something that can actually be tested. Next, you conduct a literature review to gain a deeper understanding of the topic. Finally, you move into the design process, where you determine your data methods, consider ethical issues, get the required permissions, create deadlines, and set up the systems. Next, you move into the action phase. This is where you engage in multiple cycles of experimentation and data collection. Your data collection might include qualitative data like observations, artifacts, and interviews, or quantitative data like rubric scores, surveys, or achievement data. Afterward, you move to analysis. You'll often start by organizing the data with charts or graphs and looking for specific trends. You might also discuss it with peers, free write in a journal, or create a cluster map before eventually writing out your results. Finally, you have your conclusion. This is where you share your research with the world and reflect on your own practice. This will ultimately lead to newer questions, and the cycle will continue as you refine your craft as a better, more creative teacher.
Okay. So there's a lot of information, but I think it's not so difficult to. So what did you listen to? Probably there is a word that we need to explain that is coming now in the presentation. Inquiry. Inquiry is an important word. What else could you listen to? So action research has what special characteristics? So inquiry, yes, inquiry. It's a noun, has two pronunciations, inquiry and inquiry, but it's more or less the same. It's the act of asking about something or an official investigation. So that's an inquiry. Okay, so what could you grasp more? So you will be able to listen to that again, but just before we go to a short break, what do you remember? Anything?
It's a process.
It is yes, it is a research done in process. Yes, exactly. It is a research design that indicates a process. Yes, it's not just pre-post. You see, yes, experimental designs. No, it is a process. Yes, exactly. That implies a process. Perfect, Javiera. Excellent observation. What else that is implied? As you have seen a circle, yes, planning, action.
This type of research help to the teacher for improve their practical.
Practice. Yes, practice. Yeah. Yes, it helps. Yes, the teacher improves their practices. Excellent. Yes, it was a great introduction into education. It doesn't. It was not originally used in education, but when it came to education, it made great impact on education. Talking about impact.
Their design is in a circle, not a line.
Yes, exactly. It has a circular organization, not a linear. Yes, exactly. It's not linear. Perfect. It requires a circular structure. Yes, exactly. So you have a planning phase, an action phase, an analysis phase, and a conclusion phase. Yes. And it's recursive. Moreover, it's recursive because whenever you get to conclusions, then you can start again with adjustments to the original planning. So you're going to read more about it, but just for you to think, it is circular and recursive. And recursive means it goes again and again in circles.
Okay.
Yes, excellent observation. It's not linear, it's not pre and post, and that's it, that I did my investigation. But it can continue, that circular structure being applied once and once again, different cycles. We're going to talk about that again in some minutes. Okay, anything else? What kinds of data?
I'm not sure, but maybe the experience could be.
Yes, but it says there in the video, so you will watch again.
But no, actually, the kinds of data is the information,
It is there in the video. You can watch again if you want.
books reading is.
Yes, but that's the literature review. That's the background information. Yes.
Oh.
So that's literature review, but this is data collected in the study, data that you collect during your study. Yeah? Okay, so pay attention to that. That's when you are in the phases applying the study design. Yes, while you are applying action research. Of course, always when we have a planning phase, we always have, most of the time, but always we recommend you to have a literature review in order to research for background information. And this is something you need to do also in your methodological section that we were talking about at the beginning. Also a short literature review revising on the research design you decided to use. So that's why your research from last week is so important to be shared with classmates as well. Okay, so when we come back, we will have a short break. Let's go to restroom, bring some hot tea, and please stay tuned. We will listen to this video again. You have it also in the task. We will continue discussing some more other points of view about action research, and you will conduct your own research. So, but you have great insight. Yes, it's a research designed in a process. It helps teachers improve their practices. It is being done by teachers. It has been applied with teachers since the 1970s. It was a great addition to educational research. And the origins were not in education, but it brought lots of progress to education. And it empowered teachers a lot by giving them tools to be able to provide improvements. So that's great. That's a great tool for students, for teachers, for teachers. Also, it is also done by pre-service teachers like you. Yes, it is also done by pre-service teachers, colleges of education, also teach about action research and the tools you can use as pre-service teachers, future teachers. Okay, so again, you discovered this you made this discovery. It's circular and recursive. It can be repeated. That circle structure can be repeated in several cycles. Okay, so welcome the newcomers. Welcome, I am glad you're here. We have a lot of work. We will meet in 10 minutes with hot tea, hot coffee, and we keep on going, 10:15. Is that okay?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so I hope to see you all in 15 minutes. Okay, nice to see you, everyone. Hello, Camila.
Hi, miss.
Okay. How are you doing? Are you doing okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we introduced the topic of today, that's action research. We need to just go, we just have a short break to go to restroom and bring some hot tea. So in action research, we have a special relationship existing between researcher and participants. Yes, there is different kinds of data that can be collected. And also there are elements there that help us continue progressing in that circular structure that action research offers. Okay, so I have sent via chat the document with a task. I decided to organize a task since there was a lot of information to be contained there. I know we are not working on the basis of tasks this semester. Anyway, this task was created to condense information you need to work with. Yes. So this is something we completed in the first, the pre-reading, pre-watching was completed in class discussion. You can check later our PPT. Then you have this video to take notes and answer questions. And we are at this stage. And later you will conduct your own research with certain resources on action research. So just to continue explaining the tasks, are the explanations before you continue with the task. We have, as I said, made a preliminary listening comprehension activity. We gathered some information, and then you will complete it working in your groups and discussing with your groups in more depth. Okay. So just to make a quick introduction to action research. Action research is the implementation of a systematic inquiry. Yes, so we already had a view at the word inquiry, which is the act of asking about something or having an official investigation. Now you will see it a lot in research. That word, I mean, inquiry, to inquire. And this systematic inquiry is conducted by educational practitioners, by teachers, pre-service teachers, in-service teachers, also authorities. It can be done by different actors, but always related to education in our case. Designed to answer questions related to education practices. And we were already talking about practices, the teachers' practices, and student learning outcomes in the context of a specific educational environment. So action research came from another area into education to bring a positive design for practitioners to inquire into their own practices and into student learning, for example, in a specific context. It can be done in a school, in a classroom, in the school district as well. It depends on who is carrying out the action research design. So this is from the dictionary. And now we're going to check in this cyclical organization. We were already discussing that action research requires a circular or provides a circular structure, and it is recursive. Yes, it is. Sorry, I didn't. It is recursive, so it can be repeated. That structure can be repeated one after the other. And those are called cycles. So this is one cycle, and then there can be another cycle, and so on and so forth. So there is a video also for the cycles that we are going to listen to now, discuss these 2 questions, and then I will explain the rest of the task, which will be on your responsibility to search for information about action research. And therefore, we're going to listen to the second video and be able to answer. How many stages does the action research cycle have? And how are the action research cycles connected among them? How are they connected? So this is one cycle, but I can do, as I said, it is recursive. So I can later start another cycle. So which is this connection element between the cycles? Let's see if you discover that information. Okay, so now you know more about action research, you know more about the cyclical organization and this recursive organization. So you already have this previous knowledge to apply in understanding this short video, which is very illustrative. It's very illustrative, easy to understand. Okay. So this is a cycle.
This animation provides you with an overview of a typical action research cycle. As you begin an action research cycle, the first thing you need to develop is a research idea. This research idea will then need breaking down into a plan containing a number of different stages, which usually incorporate a change or action of some sort. Once this plan and the various stages have been identified, you will then need to act upon that plan. And to see if the change or action has made any difference, you will then need to collect some data or information, which is referred to as the observation stage. This will then lead you to a period of reflection, where you try to make sense of the information or data you have collected on the changes or actions you have implemented. And at this point, you have completed your first cycle of action research. However, a crucial element of action research is that it requires more than one cycle. So this period of reflection should enable you to refine your plan, and again you will follow through the next 3 stages of acting, of observing, and of reflecting, until you have completed at least 2 cycles of the action research on the initial and then refined research idea. In summary, action research cycles incorporate 3 elements. The first element relates to multiple cycles of inquiry. The second element is that those cycles require you to implement an action, change, or intervention of some kind. And the third key element, which has not been mentioned so far, is that you need to be located in the research context. We call this being a participant researcher.
Okay. All right, so you have seen about the cycles. So we were not far away from in our first observations, we were not far away from reality. So we have these cycles. They can have different names, but in general, they are called planning, the planning stage, then the acting stage. Then you have the observing, the analysis of data, and finally, the reflecting stage. So more or less with different certain variations, you will have these names always. So how many stages does the action research cycle have? As you could see in the video and here in the picture. How many stages?
Analyzing first,
planning. Mm-hmm.
But the fourth step, no, the fourth stage more applied, or the description.
How many? No. How many? There are 4. Yes, so
there
4
are
stages.
Is planning, acting, observing, and reflectioning, or reflection, or conclusion. Mm-hmm.
Yes, or conclusion. Yes, planning, acting. It's called action. Acting, observing,
and
And
reflection.
reflecting. And remember, you can have other names. So Professor John Spencer, there's other names, but he talks about planning, action, yes,
analysis,
analyzing, and conclusions. Yes, but again, those are inherent. Yes, so you observe and you analyze. Yes, you collect data. So you do lots of things in this stage. And then when you get to your conclusions, of course, you need to reflect on your data, your analysis, and everything you have been doing. So which do you think is this element that joins this cycle? So that was the first cycle. So remember in the video, we have one cycle and a second cycle. So what do you think is the element that joins cycle 1 and cycle 2? It just said in the video. So you plan, you act, you observe, you reflect. You get to finish one cycle and then you replan, you act again, you again observe, and you go again through the cycle. But what do you need to do in order to plan again and start a second cycle?
Between planning and acting is identify, organize, maybe.
But no, that's the beginning, but at the end of the cycle, what do you have here?
The result,
Yes, we have conclusions, but what do you do with your conclusions?
You evaluate your result?
Yes, evaluate. And one more word that is important here is reflect.
Oh, yeah.
On your results. So this is a key element to in every research process, but above all in actual research, since you are in this system of cycles, and that you need to see improvements and changes from one cycle to the other. So evaluate and reflect on results. Yes, on your own results. Yes, exactly. So this is important for us to consider that whereas reflection is an important element in every research study, if we conduct an action research, that would be fundamental. Okay, so that was a short video. It is not in your task, so that's why we discuss it here in class. Okay, so now you will conduct your own research. Yes, but it's a little bit guided, but anyway, you need to find out certain information in regards to action research. Yes, many of the things we have discussed here in class, the introduction, and we watched these two videos that you can watch again, especially the first one, in which you have lots of information about action research. So this will be a jigsaw reading. Every group will have a similar but different information so as to report on action research. You will check all the resources that I provide you in the task and browse information on the action research that is contained there. So here are the resources. So you have, these are book chapters. Here in the second one is a scanning version. There is a page that is not easy to read, but I don't think information there is so crucial. But the rest of the information is okay. This was downloaded from the internet. And then you have websites and video in order to find out information on action research. So remember, you're doing this, this research, and also as you will be doing literature reviews or refining your literature reviews very soon, you need to be strategic. You need to read purposefully strategically, yes, in order to find important information, yes, and be relatively quick so that by 11:30 we have presentation, something to report, something to present about this design. Okay, in the task, you also have the questions to guide you. Yes, so what is action research? Again, we have some insight, some little beginning, a little bit of information about that. What is the purpose of doing action research? So why do teachers decide to conduct action research? Pre-service teachers as well. When can you decide to conduct action research? In which situations, in which settings? Considering which kinds of problems? Which are the main differences between action research and traditional research? Remember, there is a very important question at the beginning when you do the first listening. There is a special relationship between researcher and participants. And in the cases you have read, the very few studies that you have read within traditional research, and for example, moreover in experimental designs, researchers and participants are really separated. Yes, they kind of be in contact. Sometimes there are double blind researchers, just for the researchers to be really detached from participants, not knowing anything from them, and only analyzing data. That's done a lot in medicine, for example. So researchers there only analyze data, how effective the vaccine or a medicine is for a certain problem, health issue, but they do not know anything about the participants, about their backgrounds, their feelings, their perceptions, their experiences. In qualitative research offers us more contact to participants, but still traditional qualitative research also keeps a certain hierarchy and distance between researchers and participants. So that can be one of the main differences, but there are other differences. And so pay attention to all of the resources you have in order to find out this information. There are different types of action research. And which examples can you think of to apply this design in education? Again, I think you already have some idea about your designs for your projects. Anyway, you can still think it is possible to apply action research. After you read a little bit, you will discover, but anyway, you can think of examples as we were doing last week. Which examples could be possible with action research? In which cases? If you were in that situation. Then I ask you to prepare a graphic organizer, a summary, or something visual if it is good for you. Some of you are more visual, others are more auditory, or you can just write a summary with words. It's okay, yes, so this can be flexible. But please, in an hour, every group should be presenting on your research on action research. Yes, visual display or summary, yes. Let us make it, I don't know, flexible. But in some way or other, you need to present your results to your classmates to explain the information. These are very, very informal presentations. This is nothing formal. It's just discussing on important information on action research to take an important decision, that is whether we are doing this, we are following this design or not in our projects. And then you report on findings. Yes, this report should be short, brief, pointing out the main information you have been looking for. Okay, So again, something I wanted to mention to everyone is in the video at in the first section of the class was a participation in forums. Please, everyone has the information, every group has the presentations to upload to forum 3 with your presentations from last week. So please do that now during this morning, and also upload your feedback. So the group, the feedback that each group prepared for the different groups you were listening to. So please do this now, today. Otherwise, we will keep on delaying this forum participation. Okay, so we divide in groups, and I will check in groups according to your work and your progress. Do you all have so on Educandos, week 7, you have the 2 PDFs that have information on action research and the task. Or I can share the task here again with you. Can you download the task?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, okay. So there you have your resources, the instructions. So everyone in groups, divide the task or organize yourselves, check the resources and have a summary to present by 10:30. Okay. Okay, so who would like to share some information about the topic on action research? So we start rounding up the idea of action research. Any of the questions, different groups can answer different questions, so you all participate. Okay, so welcome. Anyone would like to start?
With Barbara,
Uh-huh.
don't make a infograma, no alcanzamos,
No,
a
no.
graphic, but and the or answers.
Yes, your answers. Yes, just share your answers. That's okay.
Okay.
Was only
And the
summary.
first
Yes.
question, what is action research? We write the action research is a process where can identify changes of the classroom that improve teaching and learning.
Yes, you can. Yes.
And your answer, Barbara?
If the action research is a design process that a researcher can follow for improve their practice.
Yeah, practice.
And the second, what is the purpose of yes of doing action research is for understand what happened in the classroom and offers ways to improve the practice with the purpose of help in the teaching and learning process.
Yes.
The third, we
will share with others. Okay, girls, that's a good introduction. Yes, Araceli, would you like to share your answers to the next question? Would you like to share?
Yes. Question number 3, teacher?
Yes, 3.
No, 3. The action research is used in real situation rather than in country experimental study. So its primary focus is on solving real problems.
Exactly. So it's done, as I told you, in schools, in classrooms. Yes, not in a laboratory with the very difficult, do you remember, experimental designs? Exactly. So it's real settings, real problems that happen to teachers or also school teachers or school authorities in the real setting. Yes, excellent, Javier. Anything else? Number 4.
We can respond to number 4.
Yes.
We search that the main difference between action research and traditional research is that in action research, It is used to investigate in an educational way. And in traditional research, it's more statistical or to compare the cause and effect relationship.
Yes, yes, or not. It can be qualitative as well, qualitative.
Yes.
But in a different setting, yes. The study I am conducting with students from the program is not within the understandings of action research, since they are not my students. So there is a division, there's a separation between researcher and participants. They will be actively responding to sections of analysis, and they will participate in that, but we are not following the steps of action research, and they are not active participants in the research study. So it's a qualitative study, but there is this difference that we were talking about between researcher and participants, a distance, yes, of power and hierarchy. Whereas here in actual research, this does not occur, and the teacher can research their own his or her own setting and students.
Miss, but action research is related with a qualitative research?
Not, you can gather, in the first video, there was this distinction. You can gather both. You can gather qualitative and quantitative data. But all in all, we can say that the results are mostly expressed by means of qualitative analysis, since you are always looking for exploring, yes, understanding a problem, and then making changes, yes, so offering some improvement. So it's inherently qualitative, but not necessarily. I can have also quantitative data, yes. But how you express, how you report these studies is mostly in a tradition, the qualitative tradition, according to the examples I have had contact with. Yes, and moreover, since we think we are trying to, as I said, not exploring, understanding, interpreting a phenomenon and making changes. So mostly making improvements, or I don't know, making proposals for improvements. So those are mainly points of view gathered from qualitative research designs. Okay, anything else? Is there any other difference that you can see that's very striking, noticeable? Anything else you would like to say about that question? We'll check the questions again. ¿Algo más para decir de esa pregunta en específico? Can you hear me?
No, Miss.
Okay. So that's the differences, yes. Then the types. Who found about the types?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
The type is traditional action research and contextual action research and radical action
research.
Research y educational action research.
Okay, so there are different types, but also there is participative or collaborative action research and exploratory action research. So there are different types according to how they organize this project. Participative is when the participants and researchers work together in designing the study. So that is usually can be done in schools or can be done in communities. Yes, when there is a need in the community to be something to be improved. So everyone participates, all of the actors participate in that research design. So that's a very interesting way to conduct research. You can read in the literature about that. No, I do not know whether it's very difficult. Probably it's not so easy for us to conduct it with students, involving students, but it could be done. It could be piloted. I think with adult students, it could be done. And the other one is more exploratory, more the traditional, I think. It is more around the topics of around a teacher, yes, and the students doing the cycles of action research, trying to discover something about this practice, yes, this everyday teaching and learning practice. So, and there are also international teachers, professors carrying out these trends on different kinds of action research, and they publish and they gather together from experiences from different parts of the world. So it's an interesting area. And examples. How can you apply this in education, action research in education? Any examples? Any examples? Can you hear me?
Maybe when all children don't understand the content.
Some content.
See?
Yeah.
So this is a problem.
Yes, a professor, yes, a teacher. Yes, a teacher in everyday life in their work. So teachers always try to find out, yes, how was the process of teaching and learning with their students, her students, if the students could progress, if they could understand the content. Yes, and so they can implement these cycles just to do that. So for example, in teaching the time, yes, it's a difficult concept for children in English. Always fifth graders, fourth graders need to learn the time, and it's always difficult. So for example, you can conduct a research, an action research cycle, yes, to make discoveries, to reflect, to find out how do the students learn that topic with the application of certain steps. And then you can reevaluate, reflect on that planning that you applied and plan a new cycle to see, okay, I taught in this way the first time, the students didn't understand the time very well. I will do it in another way. So the second cycle, you try another plan. So this is something we do intuitively. I think we always do intuitively in education, but this is like action research brings this formality to the process and empowers teachers to think in this way, to think as researchers. There's some data that we can gather, some data that we can analyze to find out results, to evaluate what we're doing, and reflect on how that can be done better. So with those lenses as researchers. And I think that can be done probably with the evaluation, the integrated evaluation is just a simulation, but it could be done, it could be developed later into a process, into a project, into an action research project in which you can really follow the steps and the cycles. Okay, so you reported the graphic organizer. We will leave for another occasion. Remember, you have the 3 forums that have already been created to participate. So today, don't leave it for tomorrow. Participate in these forums today. Forum 3, you have the materials, so you just have to upload them. If you don't do that, you forget. So please, I remind you that in the agreements, I also needed to remind you this. So upload your presentations, check your participation in online activities, please, in all of the forums. So even if this is everything you have to do until next week, please, please, please do this task, participate. I will also create a task to upload this task so that you do the listening, yes, and the reading. It's important that you keep on practicing. And so you will upload your task, your completed task. Research to the task created on Educandos week 7, that is this week. Okay, so you have activities to complete on Educandos. Please do not disregard this section, this item of evaluation. So it's a 20% of your final grade. So bear that in mind, please. Okay, so just to have this time for reflection, remember we always have time for reflection. So what did you learn about? One thing you learned.
About action research, how this design help us in our practice, like a teacher. For improve our not lesson, but our
practice.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a practice. Yes, in that case we use the word practice. So our teaching practice and the learning process of students. Remember, you always have the objective of your students in mind. Of students. Okay. So we will keep, so one question. So you have now for next class, you need to bring this these lines completed for your research. So your purpose statement, remember, and we will continue with another section that can be added to your projects. In case you decide to do an action research project, well, we will have to talk about that option or that possibility. How can it be carried out? Remember, you need to be in the site, in the site, yes, and be able to conduct at least 2 cycles or 1 cycle completely. Okay, so in any case, it takes time and dedication, but it can be done. So next class, we will continue working. Please, if you have any other questions, we can ask them now. If not, we are ready for today. And I hope problems are solved for Camila. So Camila and Daniela. So Camila and Daniela can share their presentations next week. So we are finished for today. So if you have questions, thank you for attending, and please have a great week, but work on Educandos. Please do work on Educandos and your activities there. So see you next Wednesday if you don't have any other questions. See you. Is that okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Miss. See you.
Okay.
See you soon.
Thank you.
See you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye, Miss.
Bye-bye.